All right, let's get right into it. If you're building or investing in Web3, there is one critical question we all have to face, because it's the hidden reason most projects really fail. And I guarantee it's not what you think.
Just let that sink in for a second. We spend so much time arguing about clunky UI, or weak dev teams, or even messy tokenomics. But the hard truth? Most projects die from a self-inflicted wound. They built everything on an illusion of demand. It's an illusion that looks and feels so real, right up until the moment it just vanishes into thin air.
And that is what we're calling the growth trap. It's this quiet, deadly phenomenon, and today we're going to break it down. We're going to look at how to spot it, how to avoid it, and most importantly, how to build something that actually lasts. Okay, so let's start by pulling back the curtain on the illusion itself. What does this fake demand even look like out in the wild? Well, the tricky part is that it's often disguised as wild success.
So let's be super precise here. We're not talking about genuine excitement, that organic buzz that builds over time. No. We're talking about something very specific, something manufactured. It's attention that's been artificially sped up, and it's totally disconnected from any real structural reason for people to stick around.
And here's how it usually shows up. You see those influencer-driven pumps, right? Creating this purely speculative rush. You see people swarming a project for an airdrop, only to dump the token the second they get it. Liquidity spikes like crazy, and then, poof, it's gone when the rewards dry up. And the fully diluted valuation, the FDV, looks incredible at launch, but it has zero connection to any real value being created. It's all just riding the wave of whatever's hot this week.
And all of this stuff makes it look like the project is absolutely crushing it. The charts are green, the Discord is buzzing, but there's a fundamental misunderstanding happening here, a confusion between the metrics that feel good and the metrics that actually truly matter.
So let's make this crystal clear. A token's price going up is not the same as real users adopting and loving your product.
A huge trading volume on some exchange is not the same as user retention. The people who come back day after day because they're getting real value.
And a massive, fully diluted valuation is absolutely 100% not the same as genuine, sustainable value creation for the entire ecosystem.
This quote just nails the whole problem. You can manufacture velocity. You can buy ads, you can pay influencers, you can offer insane rewards to get that initial burst of activity. But you can never, ever fake true user conviction. That has to be earned by actually solving a real problem for someone. So you might be thinking, if the warning signs are so obvious in hindsight, how do so many smart founders and smart teams walk right into this trap? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. They're optimizing for all the wrong things. They take the bait, they design their token emissions to get a huge splashy launch, not for long-term user retention. They obsess over that big exchange listing before they've even built a deep, functional ecosystem. They're out there celebrating 200,000 members in their Discord when, if you look closer, maybe only 20 people actually show up for a governance vote. It's the classic mistake of confusing noise with a real signal. And then, inevitably, the trap springs. And it's like a chain reaction you just can't stop. The farming rewards go down, and all that mercenary capital just evaporates overnight. The first big token unlock hits, and the price gets absolutely crushed by sell pressure. And then the speculators get bored, they rotate to the next shiny new thing, and the project's valuation just implodes. This really says it all, doesn't it? Speculators are just tourists. They're here for a quick thrill, maybe a cheap souvenir. Believers, on the other hand, they're residents. They are invested in the community. So, if your whole growth strategy is built to attract those tourists with flashy promises, you haven't built a city, you've just built a revolving door that spins them right back out.
Okay, so we have definitely diagnosed the problem. Now, let's talk about the solution. How do we shift from chasing hype to actually building real, sustainable demand? Well, it all starts with looking for completely different signals.
You see, real demand is, it's quieter. It's users sticking around even after the crazy incentives are gone. It's people using your product over and over again, even when the token price is just flat, or even down. It's when the token is structurally tied to real revenue and when people genuinely show up to govern the protocol because they care. It's slow, it can feel boring, but man, does it compound. So, this is the big strategic shift we all need to make. The old way was all about designing for distribution first. Just get the token into as many hands as possible, whatever it takes. The new way is to design for demand first. The old way was to think liquidity has to come before utility. The new way knows that true, undeniable utility is what actually attracts sticky, long-term liquidity. It's a huge shift from using your story to pump your valuation to having your story be an expression of the real value you're creating.
So, how can you actually apply this, like right now? Well, here is a super simple 4-part litmus test for any project. Doesn't matter if you're building it or thinking about investing in it.
Number one is the demand test. And you got to be brutally honest here. If your token price completely collapsed by 70% tomorrow, would anyone, and I mean anyone, still be using your product? If the answer is no, or even I'm not sure, then you don't have product market fit. You just have a speculative asset.
Second, the utility test. As more and more people use your actual product, does the usage of the token itself also go up? I mean, are they staking it, transacting with it, governing with it more often? If not, then your token is just kind of sitting on the sidelines. It's an ornamental feature, not a core part of the engine.
Third, we have the retention test. Take a hard look at your incentives. Are they designed to reward the fastest people who show up just to dump on everyone else? Or are they actually structured to reward long-term alignment and patience? This one question reveals everything about who you're really building for.
And finally, number 4, the narrative test. Can you explain why your project is so important without ever once mentioning the token price? If your whole story falls apart in a bear market or when the latest trend dies down, then it's a house of cards. A durable narrative is always anchored in solving a real, persistent problem.
So this all leads us to one last, really powerful way to think about this. It's a mental model that ties this all together, and it's about understanding the two fundamental forces at play in any project's ecosystem.
Think of it like this. Hype is acceleration. It's a sudden, powerful, but ultimately temporary push. But real, structural demand, that's gravity. It's a constant, persistent force that pulls everything towards a real center of value.
And this is basically a law of physics for token ecosystems. A rocket that only accelerates but never enters a stable orbit will always fall back to Earth. It's a simple truth. You can engineer attention, sure, but only creating real, undeniable value can engineer the resilience you need to actually survive.
So the final question is for you. As a builder, as an investor, as someone participating in this amazing space, what are you really optimizing for? Are you just chasing short-term attention? Or are you patiently, carefully architecting long-term resilience? Because the next cycle is going to belong to those who choose the latter.
Subscribe and visit Web3 Newswire for visibility and